watching Estuary News. I'm Luke Adams. Coming up tonight, we'll have a roundup of the latest news headlines and all the latest sports news ahead of the weekend. And I'll be reviewing the week's regional papers with my guest, Sam Hawcroft, editor of H&E Naturist. But first tonight, Hull has put forward a bid to host matches at the Rugby League World Cup in 2021. Hull City Council has submitted a proposal to become a host for the sport's biggest international festival, which has been backed by the city's two professional rugby league teams, Hull FC and Hull KR. And Rob will bring you more on that story in the sports news later in tonight's programme. North Lincolnshire Council says 83% of visitors are in favour of plans for the new St John's Market in Scunthorpe. An event was held last week where the public saw the local authority's vision to transform the former BHS store into a market. In addition to the existing market traders, 15 new people showed an interest in wanting a stall. The £4 million market is part of the council's £60 million plans to regenerate the town centre. The market is due to open in the spring. A new support group is being launched to help local people improve their mental health and well-being. North East Lincolnshire Mind will run 12 free sessions on Kent Street in Grimsby. The sessions aim to connect people with each other experiencing similar issues and to develop skills and techniques to improve mental well-being. Anyone interested in attending the group can email info@nelmind.org.uk. The Strong Women of Hesel Road Network launched in Hull early this week. The group is aimed at empowering women in the local area. The launch was intended to evaluate how the group can act as a collaborative, as Louise Cremond explains.
The idea is to bring women together from Hesel Road, past, present and future. So if you're interested in it, anybody can join it. And it's about bringing women together to share ideas, inspiration, to change women's lives for the better. But it's run and controlled by women.
Because we want it to be a decision made by the people. We don't really want to sit there and say, right, we think that we should do this and this. So we thought if we had like a launch and people can get together and see what issues are really close to their heart and then really, form some sort of plan on it, and see where we can go.
This weekend is the wonderful World Festival in Cleethorpes, led by the Culture House in Grimsby. The event will see a wide range of acts, including circus and street performances. The event aims to make culture accessible to everyone in the local community. I was joined by Charlotte Bowen, organiser of the event on the sofa earlier this week, who told me what people can expect.
We've got a range of performers. One of those is called Jolly Vian, who I saw at a festival in Yarmouth, and it's a really breathtaking dance piece. And I can't really describe it much other than saying people get thrown right into the air and caught again. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that. But yeah, that's a really good spectacle to see. There's a performer called Dick Danger, who goes up on a pole and does lots of acrobatic type stuff. There is the Circus 250 caravan coming to the event. So this year is 250 years of circus. So there's a national initiative which is celebrating that, and a caravan is touring the country.
Okay.
And the public can go in the caravan and talk to a real live circus performer and find out about their life on the road and what's involved. So there's that real nice experience there to talk to somebody who works in that profession and find out what it's like.
And the festival takes place on Sunday in People's Park in Grimsby from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. And also taking place this weekend is the Humber Street Sesh in Hull. 32,000 people are expected to attend the event, which is now in its 7th year. Around 200 acts are set to perform tonight and on Saturday. Organisers have added an extra day to the festival due to increasing popularity. Students from Hull College have been working with the Sesh team and getting into the festival spirit. Time to have a look through the week's papers now with my guest, Sam Hallcroft, editor of H&E Naturist. Good evening, Sam. Welcome to the programme.
Hi,
Thank
Luke,
you very much for coming. Always a pleasure to see
Yeah,
you.
well, great to see you again, Luke. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to come on. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You've been busy last weekend with the Hull Maritime and Folk Festival.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that's wearing my different hat, as it were. I do a bit of folk singing, and I sing under the name Sam Martin, which, I don't know, rolls off the tongue a bit better, really. That's
very
what
showbiz name.
Yeah, it
Very
is.
showbiz
Yeah,
name.
and it's absolutely not for tax purposes, you know. But only kidding. No, and it was a shame, really, because a lot of the folk festival did get massively rained off because the weather was horrendous last weekend. But yeah, it wasn't the only festival to get sort of rained off. I think the Bestival, one of the biggest festivals in the country, that got hit by the winds and rain and stuff. So they had to take the Hull one. They had to take the main stage down, and all the performers that were on the boat, as I was going to be performing on a barge just down the side of the marina. I had to go below decks, but there was still a nice bijou audience down there, and it all went off all right. And a lot of the main stage acts were playing in the Minerva, so they did it. It was a bit of a reduced sort of thing, but it still all went ahead. Yeah.
And I know you've been involved with it, Sam, for quite a few years
Yes,
now. Has it become a really popular event in the
Yeah,
whole
it
social
has.
calendar?
I mean, last year with City of Culture, it was a really big thing. There was loads of acts, and it's something that they want to get established. Every sort of July in the year. Yeah, so and I'm kind of more the traditional side of it. So I'm usually sort of doing stuff with the maritime acts like the shanty singers and things like that. But I sort of sing kind of sea songs and all sorts of stuff, really, not just shanties. But yeah, so hopefully I could be still involved for years to come. Yeah,
because we've got a strong folk and maritime heritage in Hull, haven't we? And of course, this year it's been the 50th anniversary of the triple trawler tragedy. There's been lots of celebrations at the start of the year.
Yeah, we did. Well, I was involved with stuff to do with that as well. I was singing with a folk singer called Reg Muros, who was kind of nationally famous on the folk scene. He's a brilliant artist, and hopefully, I'm not sure when it will happen, but later this year we're hoping to do that again. And it was based on the Lil sort of story, songs and readings and footage and stuff like that, so hopefully we'll be involved with that and at the end of the year.
Watch this space, keep us posted.
Definitely, I will do.
And very quickly, one of your other hats is H&E Naturist. You're a busy girl.
Yeah.
How are things going with H&E Naturist?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, still going well. Still kind of plugging away. It's a monthly magazine, so there's not really much let up really. There's a lot of work to do on that, but it's still coming out. I think the August edition is the one that's currently out. We've got a bit about body image, which is a thing that very topical. It comes up a lot really, and naturism is a good way of kind of overcoming some of those issues really, and I think it doesn't get talked about enough really. That's the kind of sort of socialising naked. It might seem a horrendously scary thing to do, but in a way, if you try it, your hang-ups kind of leave you because everybody's in the same boat, really. So that's sort of stuff we do talk about quite a lot in the magazine.
And hopefully develops people's confidence.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I'm glad all is going well, Sam.
Yeah. Cheers.
What is your first story you've chosen?
Right. Well, the first story is actually interesting because it's about a lady who had a horrific accident in the village that I live in now. I live in Berswick, just outside of Hull, and I remember it happening. And it's really funny because a couple of days ago I was talking to somebody about this accident, and I was thinking, I wonder how she is, what happened, because she was just sort of standing in the front of her car boot, and the car kind of hit her, and she was crushed against the car, and she lost her leg. And it's just, and she's still struggling to live her life, that's just a horrendous life-changing injury, really.
Absolutely.
And so she's still kind of coming to terms with that, but and it's a pretty horrific bend when you go around in, it's right near a school, and there's probably arguments to say that make it 20 mile an hour limit or whatever, because people can scream round there, and he was a young driver, and I think he got points and a fine, but he hasn't got a ban, and she was a bit sort of upset by that, and I can see why.
5 points on his license.
I think it was 5 points, yeah. So I'll just have a look. But when you think about sort of the life-changing injury that she had to go through, he got 5 points. And
two of the people who came to her aid very quickly, they're up for a bravery award.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they're up for a bravery award. That's also in the paper. one of the women, she got a belt and she put a tourniquet around the leg to stem the blood. Yeah, so that's an amazing story.
Paper up to camera there. This is in Wednesday's Hull Daily Mail.
It is, yeah.
It still doesn't seem real. My life has changed so dramatically.
Yeah.
And in the main body of the article, it does say that, her life has changed so much.
Yeah, it has, yeah. I mean,
instead of going out in her car and visiting relatives and friends, she's having to rely on people coming to see her.
Yeah.
So a massive change.
It is, yeah. You can't imagine what that must be like, really. So
well done for a great recovery.
Yeah, definitely.
What's our next story, please, Sam?
Right. So look, we've got the coming up in September. We've got the Heritage Open Days, and that's in the Hull and East Yorkshire area, and you can kind of go behind the scenes on various landmarks. And I think you can go at the top of the Humber Bridge, which is not for the faint-hearted. I'm not sure whether I'd do it.
Not a fan of heights myself. I'm afraid,
if I felt secure, I could probably do it. I don't know. I like the idea of it, but and then sort of all in High Street and all sort of down that area. There's loads going on. So definitely want to I think it's September the 8th and 9th in Hull.
Yes.
I will be in Mallorca, unfortunately,
so
I'm going to miss it. So yeah, we were invited to take part because I'm in a local folk dance group, amongst other things. But hopefully we'll see if we can do it next year because it's a great event and
they are good events.
always do
they
it.
Are good events. Running from Tuesday the 4th until Sunday the 9th at locations across Hull and Beverley, and it looks like the Springhead pumping station on
that's
Springhead Avenue
at
Willoughby.
Just up Willoughby Road.
It looks like that's going to be opened up. And as you said, the Humber Bridge there. They are good events. I've not been to them, but we have covered them on Estuary News before.
Yeah.
And it's a great way of opening up, Hull's heritage, things what you wouldn't necessarily see
definitely,
on a day-to-day basis.
I remember going around that pumping station when I was a kid, years and years ago. But yeah, I think it's shut now, isn't it? So you don't get much sort of
chance. It was once a museum.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's a shame it closed down. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, definitely. Great building.
Okay, well that's our part one of the papers, and Sam, stay with us because we'll have a look at the papers again in part two.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So join me after the break when we'll continue our review of the week's papers, and Rob Dorling has all the latest sports news. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, all the latest sports news with Rob Dorling. And still with me in the studio, Sam Hawcroft, as we continue our review of the week's papers. Sam, what else has caught your eye? I see food has caught your eye here. Food.
It did catch my eye, this one. Yeah, sweet news for all Dope Burger lovers. And yeah, I've been a customer of Dope Burger in my time, and not for a while actually, because it's not really on my sort of. But occasionally I kind of have a few beers in town and then come back and get a Dope Burger and take it home on the bus. I have been known to do that, but and the guy that Oliver, he's Oliver Johnson, runs Dope Burger, and he's very switched on. And he gets a lot of coverage in the papers. He knows how to get the publicity. He does it very well, and he's offering desserts as well. So not only is he wanting to pack on the calories and the pounds with the burgers, he's going to go into desserts too. So
savoury and sweet.
I mean his burgers. I mean people sort of say what are they like, and I don't know. I could just describe them as they're disgustingly good, really. Okay. The pictures are just the oozing with cheese and all that stuff, and they're not something that you would have every day or even every week. But they're a great treat.
So what would be your treat from Dope Burger?
I think it's called the Old Amsterdam Burger, which is kind of it's smoky bacon and that sort of thing, and it's and they're just very well done. Very nice. But very, very much of a treat, definitely.
Yeah, not every day, like you say.
No,
it's very good, as you say, Sam, that Oliver is branching out to other areas of the city, and it shows that the business is very successful, and there's that great growth of expansion, and good that a bespoke business like this is having that ability to to move forward into other areas.
Exactly, yeah, definitely, because they started out from this tiny little outlet, didn't they?
Hanleby Road.
Yeah, on Hanleby Road near the tower, and and it's just sort of taking it from strength to strength. So yeah, good on him, yeah.
And a good area with them, isn't it? A good area. There's lots happening there.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
And Gadget Burger, I think that's another popular one in Hull now as well, isn't it?
I think it's out on Springbank.
Yes,
I think.
that's right.
Yeah, I've not sampled their wares, I have to say.
Okay. Stick with Dope Burger. Maybe we'll pop there on our way home after the show.
Yeah, we might do. Yeah.
Say ta-ra to your old bra.
Yeah, this is just a brief story from Wednesday's Grimsby Telegraph, and this is an unusual event. It's been held at the Humber Bells Ladies Harmony Chorus tomorrow in Humberston at Wendover Hall, and it's called Sling a Bra and Sing, and you can get in basically, but the entry fee is one of your old bras.
Okay.
And they're going to donate them to Against Breast Cancer. We're going to settle them on in India and Africa because it's difficult for ladies over there to obtain new bras.
Right,
I'm
so a worthy cause.
It is a worthy cause, and I am kind of thinking, what would anybody over there do with one of my old bras? You know, probably best for hanging baskets or something. I don't know, but but no, it's a worthy cause, and that is. I think it was. I think no, that was. It was actually last night.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just thought that was a funny one, and I would have thought they'd probably do something like that again. Hopefully. Yeah. So. But yeah, Estuary, your old bra.
Very good, very good. Get rid of all the old bras there.
Yeah, definitely.
We're moving on from bras to maggots, I see here,
maggots.
Sam.
Bin stories. We love bin stories. Woman with heaps of maggots in bin calls for more bin collections. I kind of think this is a bit of a silly season story a little bit. You know, we always get bin stories, and it's one of these things that crops up on radio phone-ins and papers the world over. And basically, she just had a load of sort of maggots in a bin, and I just sort of think, well, you know, clean the bin then. It's not sort of rocket science, and I think at the end, you know, North Links Council just says, well, make sure you bag your rubbish properly and shut the lid of your bin, and Bob's your uncle.
Christy Wilkinson is calling for more frequent bin collections during the hot summer weather, as she went to her wheelie bin to discover an army of maggots crawling over the top of it. Not a very pleasant sight,
Is it? No, it's not. I mean, you have maggots in your food bin and stuff. It does, it does happen. We've had soaring temperatures in the past few weeks and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I kind of understand that there is this thing about bin collections, but I think we need to get used to the fact it's fortnightly. I don't have a problem really. I mean, actually, last week I forgot mine, so it'll be there for a month. But because we recycle so much, my bin's all right. I'm not overflowing with rubbish. I'm coping with it, and I just think, I don't want to have a go at these sort of people, but I think there is a bit of degree of common sense.
What do you think about people who can't recycle? Because I know in the East Riding we've got the brown bins, brown bins, haven't we? But people who can't recycle, what?
Yeah, I mean, in what sense, when you say can't recycle, you mean sort of through health and
yeah, or maybe they don't have the same kind of amenities like the brown bin.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that is a difficult question, really. I mean, they need, that's when sort of people need to come together and help them do it, really. Family members. I mean, if you're completely on your own, then I guess there's,
and I know there are
sympathy with that,
There are lots of recycling banks around, sort of like at the local supermarkets.
Yeah. I mean, people can't always get to that, so I kind of appreciate that. But generally, I mean, in the East Riding, there's the sort of service is quite good. I know it's pretty good in Hull. I'm not sure what the North Links is, but if you've got a bin where you can stick in the blue bins in the East Riding, you can stick pretty much everything in there. There's not much you can't put in there. And I just think a little bit of awareness, kind of go on the website, or even if you haven't got the internet, ring up the council and say kind of what can I put in. I'm sure they'll help you and things. And I just think we kind of need to work together on this. It's not rocket science, is recycling.
And a degree of common sense.
Yeah, definitely.
And the council says most of the councils have alternate weekly collections like us, and there are no plans to collect waste more often in the hot weather. Our advice is to make sure you bag your waste properly, especially if it contains food waste, and make sure that your bin lid stays firmly shut, away from the maggots.
Sound advice.
Sound advice. Okay, leisure centre. Oh, this sounds interesting. Evacuation at leisure centre due to burnt fish finger sandwich. This is Tuesday's Hull Daily Mail.
It is, yeah. And I was talking to a friend about that yesterday. She actually put me onto that, and she said I think it had been. She'd said it'd been worded on the website as burnt fish finger sandwich evacuates leisure centre, which kind of conjured up the image of a sandwich going. Right, everybody else. So that was a bit sort of weird, but and I think it's one of those where the headline is probably about all you need to know with that story, really. But even I think it says sort of further down that they're not even sure whether it was a burnt fish finger sandwich, but it was one of those that caused about 5 minutes of disruption on social media, and a few people saying carnage at the leisure centre.
I mean, if you were swimming, it would be very, very cold. If you'd have to step
it would actually.
outside.
If you had to kind of step outside when you've been swimming, then yeah. But
it says here some hundreds of people inside the building were asked to wait outside, including swimmers and gym goers.
Oh dear, I don't know. All because of a burnt fish finger sandwich.
An unfortunate incident. And this one here about a prisoner. Okay.
Yeah, again, this is a bit of an eye-watering headline, and I apologise for this. But it says, prisoner stuffed 2 phones and 4 SIM cards inside himself. And it does kind of, you do want to read on and think, really? When it says inside himself, what does that mean? And it does mean that. And I think we probably won't go into that any further.
Sure.
But yeah, so and I think if that wasn't a crime, it would almost be impressive. But yeah, and it just made me laugh because I used to work at the whole Daily Mail, sort of getting on for 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I do sort of wonder whether back in the day they wouldn't have put that sort of a story in the paper. You know, there was that kind of a thing. I think the sort of like the eye-watering detail, but times have changed now, and I just find that quite amusing.
An interesting article.
Yes.
Read at your peril.
Yes,
Thank you for that great selection, Sam. You've chose some very good stories there. Just a couple from me. In Thursday's Hull Daily Mail, yesterday's Hull Daily Mail, artwork in running for a global award. Good story. This is the Surligate, which was quite controversial at the time.
Yeah,
Not everybody was for it, but they're now in line to win an award. Let's have a look where it says here. Designed by architects Tonkin Lua and constructed by Pelgrin Engineering, the striking sculpture was installed in Queen's Gardens last year as part of the £25 million public realm improvement in the city centre. Do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah, I do. I like it, yeah. I've not had the benefit of seeing it actually in the dark and with the sun doing what it does. So one of these days I'll have to get down there and have a look at that. But yeah, you know, when it got built, there were, I think Bernsey, bless him, on Humberside, was very sort of vocal in calling it my granny's vase.
Absolutely. Sam,
it's
been
funny,
a perfect review.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Luke.
Now here's Rob with all the sports news.
The EFL kicks off tomorrow at 3 p.m. as all our local teams are in action. Grimsby Town kick off their League 2 campaign as they host Forest Green Rovers at Blundell Park. The Mariners finished off their last campaign with a 3-0 away win against Forest Green and hope to replicate such a dominant performance. Scunthorpe United face an away trip to newly promoted Coventry City. Iron fans will have to wait another week until they get to see their side come out at Glanford Park, when they will play Walsall a week tomorrow. Hull City will have to wait until Monday to kick off their Championship campaign as they face Aston Villa at 7:45 p.m. On to rugby now, and Hull have bid to host the matches at the Rugby League World Cup in 2021. If the bid is successful, the KCOM Stadium will be home to 2 matches, including a quarter-final. It's hoped that hosting the tournament will strengthen Hull's position as one of the country's strongest rugby league cities. The 25,000-seater stadium hosted England in their victory to Fiji in the 2013 World Cup. The tournament will be taking place during the winter months of October and November 2021. And that's everything today from the sport. From me, Rob Dawley, back to Luke in the studio.
Thanks very much, Rob. That's it for the programme today, and indeed for Sam joining me on the set. Thanks for being a great guest, Sam. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages. Details on the screen as I speak. Email news at estuary.tv or phone our news desk on 01472 31553. Write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN345BQ. From all of us on the team, have a great weekend. We'll see you live at 5:30 on Monday. Good evening.